Cool. You got time to answer one or two more?
I do.
All right, let's do it. Let me think. Okay, this is a good one. Some version of this question is just people speak too fast. Even I have pretty advanced students that they definitely speak English well. When they're talking with me one-on-one in a classroom setting, no problems. And then they go out in the streets and they just get totally lost, or they watch a movie and their comprehension goes from 80% to 0.
Yeah.
What's your take on that and how to deal with that?
I have a radical take.
Good. Let's hear it.
Ready for this? The faster someone speaks, the more you should be able to understand them.
Okay. Explain yourself.
All right. Typically, the assumption is if you're speaking too fast, slow down, please. If that's how you feel, if that's how you're looking at it, then what your assumption is, most likely, is that in order to understand the other person, you need to be understanding every word.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're not, as a native listener, you're not listening for every word. As I'm speaking to you right now, you're not picking up every single word. You're predicting, you're skipping from point to point and letting your mind naturally fill in the meaning, right? So as I'm speaking here, you're predicting what I say next. If I say such and such, you're sitting there thinking, you're automatically guessing what I'm going to say. You can feel it now.
Yeah.
If what you're doing, and this is what you're doing, is you're not listening for every single word. It's not slow. What was that word? What was that word? But rather listening for key words. 1 in 10 words you really need. Let's pretend 1 in 10 words, right?
Okay.
I'd rather that person shoot 100 words at me as quick as possible, because that gives me 10 words, right? If I'm getting 1 out of 10 words, or if I only need 1 out of 10 words, then give me 100 words as quick as possible, because then I get 10 words. If you only speak 10 words, then I only get 1 word.
Right.
So the more total, you're to summarize, when you're listening effectively, you're listening for keywords. The faster the other person speaks, the more total keywords they're giving you.
Yeah. That's a really interesting take on it. I've never thought about it like this. So I'll fight back a little bit. So I think the one issue I take with this is I'm not necessarily sure that as speakers of our native language, that we are listening for keywords rather than just like contextual evidence.
Right.
And it's really just a compilation of sound systems combining together. So I don't know. I just tend to try to avoid telling my students, like, just listen to the word. And when you hear the word steak, you will know that they're talking about a restaurant or something.
Right.
Because, someone might pronounce that word differently, or given they could be saying like a high stakes poker match, which has nothing to do with the restaurant,
Yeah. I take your point completely, and I agree with it completely. So in fact, I think that you're agreeing with me too. Let me try to explain that. If someone says to me, okay, let's go to the extreme. Speak very slowly, please. And someone goes, okay, steak or steaks. Got it? I'm like, beef steak or like high stakes poker. If they say, oh, steaks are delicious, I'm going to go, yeah, I agree. Or steaks are too high at this place.
Yeah.
The faster they spit it out, the faster I get the context. I mean, I agree with you that it's contextual. So why not let them keep bouncing? Why not let them give you as much chance as possible for you to establish the context? And I'm saying it's not like you get context better when they speak slowly. If anything, I think you get understand the context better when they speak more quickly, because they're giving you more of a sample to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. You're increasing the sample size. You have more information. Yeah.
Increasing the sample size. Exactly.
I totally agree with that. So then I think that might change the question a little bit, that when you have a large sample size and there's a lot of information and it's fast and you're getting nervous, the tendency is just to think like, shit, I can't follow it. How could people, I don't know, build their capacity to pick up on that context more quickly, or just to be able to adapt in that situation where someone's speaking really fast and you understood one word out of 10?
Yeah.
How do you follow up with that?
It's a shift in mentality, and it feels like it's it's a subconscious type of shift in mentality, and it happens when the person breaks through. Pretend you're the student and you're listening to me speak. I might be speaking slowly so that you can understand and you're like, okay, I'm following, I'm tracking. Once in a while, what I like to do, and I do this increasingly more and more to get people to have this breakthrough. The breakthrough happens, Foster, when you, again, you're my student, pretend. I've been speaking very carefully. And then all of a sudden I say, oh man, yeah. So last weekend, totally crazy story. What happened was I went to this, and then I went to there, and I went to there, and I was visiting my friends in Georgia. I was down in Georgia, and then there was this big tornado. And all of a sudden, what happens is the person will go, and this can be done skillfully as the teacher. This can be done in such a way where you're kind of aiming for this to happen. Pretty soon, you'll say, I understood everything you said there. I mean, I didn't know every word, but I totally got that. And so it's this breakthrough where the person stops listening word for word and starts listening to the main point. And once you've had a taste of that, once you've broken through, then you can start opening it up more and more. And now the person is not concentrating on words, but concentrating on guessing the meaning.
Yeah, I see. You just articulated something I've felt for a long time. I never knew how to say it. So the other day, someone asked me about the healthcare system in the U.S., and I was like, all right, shit. Well, we have private insurance, and we have this thing, like we have deductibles. So I got to explain what that is. And I was just talking really fast, explaining stuff I don't know anything about. And they're like, all right, yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. The system doesn't make any sense, but they understood everything.
Right.
And it was like a super jumbled, incoherent just rant that I
just and they just have to hang on for dear life.
Yeah.
But that skill of learning to and having experienced the feeling of hanging on for dear life, there's no other way to get to that point where you can do that other than living through that, other than having to go through that.
Yeah. That's just clocking in the time. Yeah.